is now 7 p.m. Today is Monday, September the 12th. I call this meeting of Aransas Pass ISD Board of Trustees to order. I declare we have a quorum. Ms. Butler will lead us in the pledges, and Mr. Rector in the invocation. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Let us pray. But Heavenly Father, we thank you for all the beautiful things in life you bless us to enjoy because of your love for us. We thank you for watching over our staff and our students. We continue to pray for all of our families who have lost loved ones during the attack of the Trade Center September 11th, 21 years ago. We thank you for the love you have put in our hearts to come together and love one another. We pray that you would bless us now as we begin our meeting. We ask all these blessings in Jesus' name. It's for his sake we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Butler and Mr. Rector. Next is public testimony. We have anybody sign up? Okay. Next is district recognition, Panther and Employees of the Month. Ms. Cook.
We are so excited because tonight is our first night back where everyone has been invited to join us for our board meeting in-house. And we are going to celebrate our Panthers and Employees of the Month for the month of September. So I just want to welcome all of you. It is so good to see you here. It's been very lonely in here without having an audience. And so it's good to see you because the very reason we exist is for all of you, for the students and for the parents. We're here to serve you. And so to have you here today with us is a joy and a pleasure. And then, of course, our staff, we can't get anything done without them. And so celebrating our staff and all the hard work they do each and every day with your children is very important. So at this time, we're going to have a board member that is going to come. We're going to do this a little different. You probably don't remember because it's been 2 years. So we're going to do it a little different than we've done in the past. If you do remember, we're actually going to recognize over here in front of our AP banner. This is a good place for a little photo op too. Ms. Stansberry, she will be presenting the what am I trying to say? The award, thank you, the prize. The award, behind number one, the award, and Mr. Rector, our board member, will then present it to our recipients, and you'll have time for us to take pictures so that we can put it on our Facebook page and on our website, and you as family may take pictures. So thank you again for being here. So let's begin with our first Panther of the Month for September 2022. We have Maya Edison. Will you come up to the front? You get to go first. Maya Edison is a first grade student at Falk Elementary. Maya was chosen as Panther of the Month for her kindness and showing compassion to others.
Ms. Cook. Sir, if you want to move up.
Yes,
you
if you'd like to come up. Yes, you can. No, you can come on up.
You get a better photo if you get a little closer.
Yes.
So, if any of your parents when your child comes up, if you want to get it closer, just go up there. We don't have, we're not that formal here, so we're not gonna.
Congratulations, Maya. Was I saying that right? Is it Mia or Maya? Was it Maya? Did I say Mia? After I said that, I thought it's probably said it wrong. My first name's Kara, and everybody calls me Cara. So I'm so sorry. Mia, beautiful name, beautiful young lady. And thank you for all you do to be a great Panther of the Month. Okay. Hopefully I'm going to say this one. Oh, bless you.
Bless you.
Lee or Leah? Leah? Okay, I'm going to say this one right this time. Leah Thetford, will you come up? This young lady is a 4th grade student at Charlie Marshall Elementary. She arrives each morning with the biggest smile, ready for the day. She comes to class prepared and excited to learn. Our classroom is enriched with her friendly attitude and helpful spirit. Congratulations. Next, we have a 7th grade student at AC Blunt, Aiden Wins. He was selected as our Panther of the Month for always showing leadership in the classroom and with the football team. He is very considerate of others and also has an outstanding attitude. We couldn't be more proud to call him Panther of the Month. Congratulations. And finally, we have an 11th grade student from the high school, Elora Pierre. Elora has an outstanding attitude in both the classroom and on the court. She excels in the classroom and is very organized and meticulous with all of her studies. Elora is a leader on the volleyball court and represents APHS with class and sportsmanship. We are very proud of this young lady and see a bright future in front of her. Congratulations. Next, we have our Employees of the Month. First, we want to begin with our Assistant Principal at Falk Elementary, Miss Hesper Donahue. Miss Donahue has been an educator for 19 years with 4 years at APISD and is in her first year as the Assistant Principal at Falk. She was chosen for her enthusiastic joy that spreads like wildfire and her willingness to step up and do anything for students and staff. If you haven't seen that enthusiasm, you need to go to our website page or our Facebook page and you can see her dance moves. She is awesome and led us in that. Love it. So congratulations, Ms. Donahue. I added that. It just makes me smile every time I think about it. Next, we have from Charlie Marshall Elementary, Mr. Fong Hong. He is our STEAM Stream Lab teacher at Charlie Marshall. He is AKA Mr. H. He joined APISD last year as a part-time tutor. Mr. Hong was chosen as Employee of the Month for working hard to implement the STEAM Lab opportunity for our students. Mr. Hong has a creative side and some kid magic. His students are always engaged and happy to learn, and he is a great addition to our APISD family. Congratulations. Next, we have James Mclendon. He teaches Principles of Information Technology and Principles of Audio-Visual Communication at AC Blunt. This is his first year at APISD, and we are very lucky to have him join our family. Mr. Mclendon was selected as Employee of the Month because he is gentle and helpful with the students. He has a ready smile, and he is willing to meet the students where they are, quietly walking them through a process and offering encouragement. Thank you for all you do, and congratulations. Next, from APHS, we have Jenna Adame. This is Miss Adame's first year at APISD, and you can tell we've hired some great first-year people. And she always wants to help parents, students, and co-workers. Although she is new, she is a true gem, willing to jump in without hesitation to do what has to be done. Most of all, her welcoming smile as you approach the front office area has been a wonderful addition to APHS. Congratulations. Next, for our Central Office Employee of the Month, we have chosen Bertha Morales. The 22-23 school year is her 26th year with APISD. She serves in the Human Resource Office, overseeing benefits for all staff. This is a very important role that must be done with the highest level of confidentiality and precision. Bertha is exceptional in her role and does it with a smile and caring spirit that makes everyone feel welcomed. Congratulations. Is he not here? Our final one is for Maintenance and Transportation Department. I don't know if he's here, but we'll recognize him, is Arnold Cruz. He has served 9 years at APISD. Arnold is always working proactively and is extremely hardworking. He takes pride in his assigned groundskeeping area and always striving to achieve that great curb appeal. And you can see his handiwork all around our district. So congratulations to Arnold. I think I heard through, you probably heard like I did as I was reading these, smile seemed to come up a lot. And that is wonderful to see and hear. That when we had convocation this year, one of our main objectives as we talked about what we wanted this year to look like was to bring joy back into our school district, into the classrooms, into our hallways, on the fields, on the basketball courts, the volleyball court, wherever they are. Have sheer joy. And so this brings me great joy as the luckiest leader in the world of a school district, is to hear and see that that's happening, that joy is in our classrooms, smiles are there. We're working hard, but together we're family, and we're going to achieve great things this year. So thank you for starting this year off great, and congratulations again to all of you.
Now, before we move on to the rest of the business, for people, since we haven't done this in quite a while, what we do right now is take a pause for a moment. So if your parents would like to leave with your children, I know you've still got homework to do, you got dinners to eat, things like that. So take this opportunity to go ahead and leave. And we thank you for coming, and we really appreciate you, and we appreciate the students, and we congratulate on all the students here and the parents for the good work they're doing. Next on the agenda is the superintendent's report. Ms. Cook, enrollment report. Ms. Cook?
Yes. It is with great pleasure that I tell you that our district enrollment at the as of 9/12 is 1,706 students. We came over, I can't remember which day it was that first week, over 1,700 students. That is a goal we've been trying to get closer to pre-Harvey numbers. So we're excited. The students have come back. New students have arrived. Our attendance rate overall is sitting at 94.43%. Our budget is based on 94%. So even as we started off a little shaky with a few illnesses going around, we still have been able to maintain that at this point. You see the breakdown for each campus. Some fell a little short for different reasons. One of our topics tomorrow, the admin team will be talking about, is how some fun attendance incentives to really try to do have some fun, put that joy back in it, and make it where the kids don't want to miss school unless they actually are sick, and then of course we need them to stay at home. But so far things are really looking good for our attendance as we begin this new year, and we're in our fifth week of this year.
Yeah, and I'd just like to comment, that again, we need to, like say, just the attendance is not where we wanted that to be. We just need to bring that up, because that's going to make us look better towards the end of the year when we start getting the ADA for the money wise. So I know it's a hard job for you principals out there, but, you know, I mean, that's something we got to do every year. And we kind of, you know, this is post-COVID. It is hard because kids got used to not coming to school during COVID. So now we got to get them back into that trend of, you know, hey, you got to go back to school, guys. You know, it's there, because we were at 96, 97% before COVID, and we're down at 94% now, 95. So we need to work real hard to bring that back up to what it was pre-COVID. So.
Yes.
Anybody else got any comments? Next is student outcome report.
Yes, I've asked Ms. Dominguez to come and share with you the final reports. Last month we brought to you the preliminary results of accountability, but Ms. Dominguez has prepared the data on the final, and she's going to go through that and share with you and answer any questions that you might have. Ms. Dominguez?
All right. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is just give you a brief high-level overview of the accountability system, just to refresh your memory on how it works, and then I'll go through our numbers. In the accountability system, we're rated in 3 domains. Student achievement is domain 1. Domain 2 is academic growth and relative performance. So there's 2 parts to domain 2. And then domain 3 is closing the gaps. Elementary schools and middle schools are scored differently than high schools and districts. So it's a different combination of things that go into those domains. So I'm just going to touch on those briefly, and then I'm going to tell you how our schools in our district did with those. So the first slide that you see is how elementary and middle schools are scored. For the accountability system, in the picture you're seeing domain 1, student achievement, star performance. Then you see that blue arrow that says OR. Then you see domain 2A, academic growth, which is how they did from one year to the next on reading or math. Then you see another blue arrow that says OR, and then relative performance. So the first part of the score comes from one of those 3 things, and it's going to be the best of the 3 that we get scored on. So it'll be 70% of that. And then 30% comes from closing the gaps, which is domain 3, which is kind of a sprinkling of star performance, growth, and academic achievement, which is the percentage of students meets level of performance, and then our TELPA scores. So that's what domain 3 is looking at. For high schools and districts, you're going to see that CCMR plays a big role. In domain 1, it's 40%, and you also have graduation rate. So there are 3 things for high schools and districts rather than just 1 that contribute to domain 1. Domain 2 is the same for everyone. So it's just based on that growth from year to year in reading and math. As far as the academic growth part of domain 2. The relative performance part of domain 2, again, you have CCMR contributing heavily to that part of domain 2. And then in domain 3, you see CCMR again, which is 30%, and graduation rate is there, and growth falls off. And again, the same thing, 70% comes from domain 1 or domain 2A or domain 2B, and then 30% comes from closing the gaps. So for domain 1, I'm just showing you how each school did in each domain. For domain 1, Charlie Marshall, in their star performance, was at 62 out of 100. What domain 1 includes is students that meet the approaches level, the meets level, and the master's level, and it's just an average of that. So that's your domain 1 score. AC Blunt in domain 1 received a 72. And in these pictures, you can also see how the school did compared to the district average. So that's overall star performance in on all tests. At the high school on domain 1 scored a 77. And that's looking at their star performance for this part. That's the 77. And then in domain 1 for CCMR, you'll see 29% reach the CCMR criteria. And then our graduation rate, we received a 99%. So the CCMR is 40% of the score, graduation rate's 20% of the score, and the rest comes from the star performance. So the next page shows you how it all calculated out. So the high school in domain 1 actually received a 75. In domain 2, we're all scored the same way, so I could put us all on the same page. That was nice. Charlie Marshall had an 80 for academic growth, AC Blunt a 66, and Aransas Pass High School at 87. Again, that's going from 1 year to the next in reading and math. And here you see one school, Charlie Marshall did really well with growth, AC Blunt didn't do as well, but that's kind of typical of something you see at middle school, and you see that as a statewide trend also. And then it popped back up at high school. And that's domain 2A. Domain 2B, you're going to see the opposite. So Charlie Marshall had a 63 for relative performance, whereas AC Blunt had an 80. So domain 2B is based on same campus type compared with other campuses that have similar percentages of economically disadvantaged students. So that's who you're compared against to get your score. And then when you look at the high school and districts, we're scored the same way, with star performance being 50%, CCMR being 50%. The high school, with that combination, received a 72 for relative performance. And then I think I moved on. Yeah, I moved on to domain 3. We'll do the district in a minute at the end. Domain 3 is, this domain is where you're seeing all your subgroups. I really like looking at this picture because it tells you a whole lot. Charlie Marshall received a 73 out of 100. AC Blunt received 76 out of 100 here. You will see that in academic achievement, we see some areas of growth or strengths, which Charlie Marshall in the growth area, and on the top picture, you see a lot of green checks. That's where they met those targets. So there's certain criteria they have to meet the targets. And then Blunt, you'll see below where ELA is really a strength for them. And they have a lot of green checks in the ELA area under academic achievement and under growth. But domain 3 is kind of like a mix of everything. And then the high schools and districts, so the high school for domain 3 had a 73. And you will see that for their strength, they have their academic achievement and graduation rate are really strengths for them. That school quality is based on CCMR. They did not meet any of their CCMR targets. So that's why they scored the 73. And then as far as the district, Here's how we rated in each area and then combined. Student achievement, we were a 71. School progress, a 79. And closing the gaps, a 71. And so our overall rating came out to a 77. So I wanted to spend just a minute to tell you about a couple of the changes that that we may see for this year in accountability. One of them is proportional weighting by domain. What the state was seeing was that some campuses and districts, really, some districts were being either unfairly rewarded or punished due to their CCMR scores. So some districts, they had multiple campuses that had Ds, and then yet they scored a high B as a district. And then there were some districts like ours that we did pretty well academically, actually better than some of those districts, and yet we came out a C. And so the state sees that, and they see that that's not really a fair representation for the district. So they're looking at doing that differently and not scoring districts the same as high schools. They're going to take all of the campuses and do a proportional weighting based on the population of the campuses, and that will determine the district score, which I think is a much fairer way to do it. So that's just one of the changes that they're looking at. They're also looking at doing a few things like reset the scale score conversions, so we may see a difference in what it takes to reach a certain score. Teachers usually notice that. The addition of accelerated instruction, that's our House Bill 4545 tutoring, will probably be put into the accountability system, probably in Domain 3. And then in Domain 3, instead of using just the yes or no, which is the X or check, using a point system like a 0 to 4 based on those targets and how well you did, how close maybe you came to getting to those targets. And then they're going to change the calculation on how growth is calculated, but just slightly. I don't think that's going to affect us too much. But I just thought that was interesting, some of the changes that they're looking at. As far as how we did overall, I do think that there were some areas for us to celebrate as a district. And one place to celebrate is at the high school, and I put that comparison up there because I like to see it. Our high school had 3 distinctions. So in this area, we were the only high school that had 3 distinctions. And so they did really well in the ELA, the math, and the academic growth. AC Blunt, I think their celebrations are their relative performance and their reading language arts performance. They did really well in those areas. And Charlie Marshall in growth. We do have some opportunities, though. We noticed that our math performance needs work at the elementary and middle school, and then CCMR at high school. So those things were very evident to us as we looked through our data. So at Charlie Marshall and Blunt, we are implementing a new math curriculum. We do have a grant-funded math coach that's working with the teachers on how to implement this curriculum, and we're working with that really closely and being in the classrooms and making sure that teachers have everything that they need to implement the curriculum. And then also our House Bill 4545 tutorials, we began those very early. So we're getting started with those tutorials very soon so that we can help close any gaps that we're seeing due to the math areas that need work. At high school, we have already taken steps to increase certifications. We were already on the road to that, but we're increasing certifications, and we're offering welding and health science certifications in district. We're adding career education and principles of health science, information technology, graphic design classes at AC Blunt so that we can get those students into those pathways early, get them interested early and excited about it, so hopefully they'll stay in those pathways and get those certifications. And then we're also working on meeting that TSI component by incorporating college prep courses at our high school. So we just started that this year. Any questions?
Will those college prep courses be just for seniors, or will juniors have an opportunity to get a head start on those?
Right now, we're looking at seniors, but in the future, we're looking at incorporating juniors and seniors.
Okay.
Mhm.
And the military readiness is not, they didn't judge the military readiness, so they took it out of the equation this year? or-
That has been taken out, but they're looking to add that back in, but they're trying to find that way of reporting where we can know if they actually enlisted. So it's only going to count if they actually enlist in the military.
Prior to get out of high school or after they get out?
After they get out, because our data lags a year anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Mhm.
And the other thing I kind of noticed, some of the campuses, like there's a couple of districts around here that had, that none of their scores counted, period. So they were never added into the equation of the district score, because there was just no scores. So as an end result, they come up with a better grade than us, even though none of they have two of the campuses were never graded, and that, I mean, that kind of struck me kind of odd that wasn't included into that you can have, campuses that weren't even graded, and they just
Talking about
they're
not rated.
yeah, they're not rated.
Well,
at
not
all.
rated means they made a D or F.
Yeah, but then they weren't included in the calculations, right?
No, it was, but what happened, like she's saying, the CCMR, because of the way the district is calculated, even though they had campus areas that were Ds or Fs, not rated this year, the way the calculations were that the state has now seen is not a fair and equitable way to do it. They basically inflated them, so even though they had a lot of Ds and Fs, they still were able to make a B.
Yeah, and it just kind of,
Yeah.
it just kind of struck me odd. It kind of said that's just not fair. Just like, for districts that everybody.
Well, we're that district that it really
It
hurt.
suffered-
It
it
hurt
hurt-
us.
hurt,
That
yeah.
one thing hurt us.
And there are a couple of districts in
yes.
our area that helped them, so
Yes.
So,
big time.
yeah. So, yes, that's. So I'm glad they have noticed that at the state level, and they're going to try to make some things. Didn't help us this year, but I'm glad they saw that was hurting some of us.
The actions to address opportunities, are these kind of general across the board? What I'm wanting to hear a little bit more is about the closing the gaps, how we can improve in that particular category for all of our campuses.
Yes. So the math, the implementation of that curriculum should help us close the gaps in the math, so that where you see all those X's,
Yes.
those should hopefully be a lot less X's, hopefully none. But we hope to get rid of a lot of those X's that way, because you're going to see that in growth. It's going to help us show growth in math. It's going to also help us show academic achievement in math. So it's going to hit two areas there just by improving on the math. Then with the certifications and the TSI, that's going to help us raise that CCMR score, so that school quality, where you see all those red X's in that closing the gaps, we should see a lot more checks there instead of the red X's.
And in theory, when should we actually see the benefits of the current initiatives with the new math that's being introduced, these new programs? Any idea of if it's a year, 2, 3, when we should actually see those
Well,
results in our accountability?
that's hard to. I'm very hopeful. I know anytime you implement a new curriculum, it's always a challenge. But we have a lot of support. Our teachers are already jumping in, and they're already doing a great job with it. So I'm very hopeful in this first year that we're going to see some really good improvement in the math, even though many times when you implement a new curriculum, you know that there are going to be some hiccups in it. As far as the CCMR, that's the data lags a year.
1 year, okay, on the CCMR. Okay.
Well, I just want to let people know that, for the staff, that for the administration and staff, that we know it's not because of lack of effort last year, because we know you guys worked your tails off, so we do appreciate that. So, and Yeah, and we look at the results, and we understand that there's, that we're getting there. Okay, it's just going to take your continued hard work, and I think we got a good staff of administrators and a good staff of teachers here. So and you got our support, you got my support, and I'm sure you got the rest of the school board support because we'll be behind you in that. So just kind of keep your don't get your hopes down, don't get discouraged. Just keep working for it, and we'll get there. Okay, I see things on the horizon, and I think we're on the move, and we'll get there. Okay, we're going to be at B and eventually A district, and we're going to be the star of the Coastal Bend. So just kind of keep working, and to your efforts and our teachers' efforts, that's all going to happen. So
Thank you.
Thank you, Shelley.
Thank you.
okay, next is Health Occupation Students of America.
Yes, we have Miss Vivian Armstrong. She's one of our new health science teachers working at the, don't believe she's here tonight, but we hired her to start with that Principles of Health Science at the middle school. And she was interested in establishing a national HOSA chapter. She's already got the chapter number. You have the bylaws in your packet. So she's done this before. She was on top of it. And so this is a great opportunity to get our students involved at a higher level. Once again, this feeds into the whole piece of CCMR to kind of paint that bigger picture for them, help them to be a part of something bigger than here in Aransas Pass. And they see that bigger, broader spectrum of what is possible for them. So just wanted to bring this to you so you'd be aware. If you hear the HOSA chapter, you would know what is involved with that.
Do we still have a high school HOSA?
Did they talk about? I'm sorry. Here you are. I was like, where are you? Yes, we still do. Correct. Yes. I didn't want to miss. Yes.
Anybody else got any comments, questions on that? Next is construction update, Ms. Cook.
Okay. Thankfully, we don't have a whole lot of construction going on right now. Take a little reprieve, but we do have put in your packet. Just trying to finish up with the athletic complex. The last piece we have is the letters to go on the end caps of the batting cages. And that's been a long process. I appreciate Mr. Bennett and Mr. Ochoa working diligently to stay on top of that and push. Some things, it's just very odd, as I'm sure you're aware. Some things, it just seems like it takes it forever to get where it needs to be. I don't know what boat that's on, but that's kind of what's been happening here. But we were told this past Friday that we are scheduled for installation on September 23rd. So we finally have it supposed to be there in fabrication, and they're supposed to be installed. So
Good.
We're hopeful and prayerful that will happen. That will be the last piece of that project. The Keyburger remodel is nearing completion. We talked to them today, and we're looking at next Tuesday, hopefully beginning to do our punch walk and look at everything. There's a lot of that little stuff that's at the end now, trying to fine tune. So we're looking forward to that. I put a few pictures in there for you so you can kind of see some of what's going on. It's really taking shape. We're getting very excited. Then we'll be working on not only punching that out and finalizing that, but working on our timeline, how we're going to move us as a central office out of here, out of Charlie Marshall, over to the Keyburger wing. So then we can start then thinking about how we're going to turn these rooms back into classrooms. So be kind of a lot of planning and timing as we begin that project. And once again, if you ever would like to take a walk and look and see yourself, just let me know. I'll be glad to take you on a tour.
It's kind of hard for me to look at that school when I pass by. That's the same school I went to. It looks so nice right now.
It's kind of taking on a new look.
It looks
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah. We're using all of our spaces as wisely as we can.
These pictures look good too.
I tell you, I walked down that hall Friday. They had just finished painting the hallway, and I thought, oh goodness, it's so bright and clean looking. So
Yeah, I just remember, I'm going to wait until everything's finished, so it's pretty close. I went there before everything's happened, so I'm going to get the before and after pictures.
yeah,
So,
yeah, it's quite a
so,
shock to you when you,
Yeah.
especially if you've
But the
known
pictures
that
look
which school in that building. It's
Yeah, the pictures
I
look a
guess
lot different
probably
than what it was.
sad and exciting at the same time.
Back a lot of memories,
Yeah.
way back.
Got one question. I know on the baseball fields, remember they were off on the home plate, was off like 1 foot or something like
Poles.
that. Did they realign that during the summer?
Poles that were
Yeah,
everything's been
something
done.
they just did that, so I just want to make sure that didn't fall through.
No, all that's been done.
Yeah, I'm assuming it was dead, but it's just for update wise,
Yes,
for public
yes.
knowledge. We just need to,
Yes.
that's all been completed, so.
Yes. Oh, Mr. Bennett's staying on top of that.
All right,
It's-
thank
it's-
you. Anybody else got any questions or comments? Next is calendar of
Excuse me, I'm
upcoming
sorry,
events.
just real quick.
Oh.
So does that mean that the, because we had made payment and we were going to close out, it was kind of a conditional till they finished the last few items, so they've completed everything now? Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes, because the end cap was a separate, it wasn't part of that project. I mean, it
Okay.
wasn't part of the contractor's project. We did that afterwards.
And I think we still have, what, $10,000? Have we closed that out?
I'm waiting on a bill.
Okay. I know on the financial
Okay.
report, it's got $10,000 still owed on it somewhere out there, so that'd be probably the last thing we would do, pay them.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
they won't forget.
All right, calendar of upcoming events?
It's really gearing up now, so we'll try to keep you. Of course, this is not in everything, and Miss Blaze will be trying to shoot you texts and emails to remind you as things come up because it comes pretty quick. Did want to remind you that Wednesday is our homecoming parade and community pep rally. Those of you that were able to be on a board float, 6:30 p.m. line up at Compton Hall. If you couldn't make that and you can come in afterwards and make it in time for the end of the parade or the community pep rally, we'd love to have you. And then you see there's many other things that are coming up, and I'm sure more that will be added as we go along. It's going to, this first semester will go by very quickly. But we're looking forward to Wednesday night. It's going to be a fun community event. Hope the rain holds off just a tad till we're done.
It's supposed to rain that late that night, after midnight, so. But just mention Blaze, I think, sent out a text to everybody. I don't know if you've seen it yet or not, but it's supposed to have a site you can go in and prepay for your tickets, $10 for the barbecue plates or sandwiches are going to have over there for the tailgate. You can pre-purchase those. So there's a website you can go to and do that. So,
Which is a fundraiser for students.
yes.
Yes.
And just for the administrators out there, again, if you have something going on at your campus that's not on our district calendar, like if teachers are going to do something like a special event for the students or something that you would like us to attend, just email us. And if we're available, we would love to attend and support our students and the teachers doing that. We have no problem being there for them and watching our kids because that's, that makes us proud and, gets us all excited when we see what the kids are doing in the classroom. So it gives us an opportunity to do that. We don't do it interfere with what's happening in the classroom, but we want to be there to celebrate our kids' success. So just kind of put that out to you. If you let us know, we'll try to make it. So anything else? Next is the financial report. First is accounts payable, Mrs. Stansberry.
Open to questions if you'll have any.
Anybody got any questions on it?
Just, were there any significant plus or minuses from the projections where we were going to end up for the current year?
From the cash flow,
Is
no,
we,
we're
okay,
pretty much on schedule.
thank you.
Next is the budget status and investment. Anybody got any questions? Tax collection, bond finance, FEMA projects.
Anything new or updates on FEMA?
Kara and I had a conference with Tatum on the phone, and basically they know what our concerns are. Kara expressed those, and what resulted is I'm gonna be in closer contact with our rep. He's been emailing me at the end of each week of where we are, and the baseball, softball fields is what's really gonna be, the biggest concern. And he, in order for them to really find out what they're really needing, he went ahead and elevated it to the next level. So he's put it into the people that are above him and above the compliance committee to see what they say and let them guide us through that next phase. But we're still, trying to find out what the real word is. They're still in compliance review for our bus barn, but I believe that should be settled here in the next, I would say in the next month. And then just waiting to hear where the baseball, softball field, what we need to get to them so they can continue on with their process. Then we have the last part, which is called PAPDAC. That is based on the total cost from FEMA's projected cost. And they will give us, it's a percentage, like 5% over the total cost. So until we find out what the final cost is for the bus barn, baseball, and softball field, that'll have a direct effect on how much PAPDAC we got. They estimated originally at $449,000. Where it's gonna be a wait and see game for that.
So basically, you know, that the FEMA payment we're going to get is just additional money because those construction and rebuilding things and have already been paid for, right? So this is just
Receive the
reimbursing us in
money,
our budget,
right.
so it'll go into our budget. So we'll have a little additional money in our budget, hopefully, if we get that money. So
Yes.
So is the compliance review, hopefully at the end of the compliance review, we'll have a more solid number of the actual reimbursement, or is there another step before we get to that number?
What they've done, what they are doing is auditing FEMA's work. Because that's one of our questions is, it's, the money's already been obligated by FEMA and it's been sent to the state of Texas, so what is actually the process that's happening? And that's what they're doing, is making sure that FEMA dotted all their I's, crossed their T's, and that all of the procedures that were supposed to be followed were followed. And they are very thorough. I mean, they are very thorough. So when they start having questions, it's not so much that they're doubting what we said, but they're trying to prove that whatever number FEMA came up with is really an actual good number.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
anybody else got any comments, questions? Okay, next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. First is consider and approve the vendor for student information system beginning in the 2023-2024 school year. Ms. Cook?
No, the minutes and the,
It should be on number 6.
consider and approve the minutes and the,
I put my pages in wrong order, that's why.
that's okay. I was like, we've never put nothing like that in consent agenda.
get
but
ahead.
I had to look real quick.
I'm trying to get ahead.
No worries, no worries.
Okay, go back to, okay, consider, next is the, consider and approve the minutes of the August 8th board regular meeting and the August 29th special board meeting. Does anybody have any comments or questions or corrections on those? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items? Motion made by Ms.
Second.
Piazza, second by Mr. Director. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Ayes, got it. Now we go to action agenda. Consider and approve MOU for Del Mar College. Ms. Cook?
We do this each September as we work with Del Mar College, basically to offer our dual credit courses. And so this is quite involved MOU, if you had a chance to read it, but it covers all the different pieces, their obligations, our obligations to do that. At the end of it, you'll see the different courses that are a part of this that could the students could take. Of course, they've already registered or so forth for those. And then you also have some non-core courses that are available that we can work to have them take. And then it has our continuing education crosswalk. A lot of our health science now we're doing in-house since we've hired our health healthcare professionals. And so we're doing a lot of that in-house now through the certifications they have or through other opportunities. But we will still be working with Del Mar even on some of those areas. But the certifications, we've set ourselves up having these new hires to be able to take care of a lot of that here. So we're excited about that. And then we'll keep working with students to, those that wish to, go further and advance. We have that opportunity through this MOU.
Yeah, and I think it's brought up also for the welding program. We do in-house certification for welding, which should help us on the CCMR coming up at the end of the year. So we get a lot of those kids certified and get certificates. That's going to give us a lot more points on the on the rating. So that's where we were kind of hurting last year because it was getting count because it was a year ago and we had trouble getting.
Well, we had a lot of students that when we were going to Ingleside, they really wanted to stay here in their own district, which is understandable. They didn't want to travel over. It's nothing against Ingleside, just the students wanted to stay here. But our program has really grown now that we have our labs here. They're able to go through the whole 4 years here with us. And then, of course, there's representatives from Del Mar and from some other agencies that help us with those certifications. So there's still a lot of partnerships here to make this happen, but bringing it in-house for our students, it seems to be working to help get them more involved. We do still have, I think it's 3 or 4 students that are going over to Ingleside for instrumentation and robotics. So we still open it up for them. We never want to limit them. If we don't have it here, we'll find a way to get them to where they can achieve that and still be a Panther. But then we're trying to do the best we can to have as much here within our district for our students.
I know we do this annually. Is this MOU the same or has it changed?
I didn't really notice that anything had changed. It's very, very basic, pretty much, the basic MOU that we've used.
Okay.
Any questions, comments?
And has it been vetted by our district attorney?
I do not vet this one by our district attorney because we've done it every year. It was vetted long ago, and they, I have not. I can but I don't vet every one, especially if it's one that we've done for multiple years, and I don't see any changes. If they came to us and wanted to do some drastic change, of course we would.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the early college program memorandum of understanding between Aransas Pass ISD and Del Mar College?
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Butler. Do I hear a second? Second by Ms. Diosas. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Next, consider and approve the resolution for recognition of extracurricular status of 4-H organizations of Aransas County. It's about the same thing we did for San Patricio last week.
Yes, we're coming that time of year where we have our normal resolutions that we bring so we can continue these partnerships.
And I'm going to abstain to avoid a perceived conflict of interest due to work.
Got a question for you. This is kind of,
Oh,
since we only got 3 people, do we have enough to approve it?
no, you don't. You have to have a
I
quorum.
didn't think so.
Yeah.
We don't have a quorum.
So with her abstaining, we'll have to
Yeah.
bring these back.
I have to bring that back. Okay.
Does she have to abstain for the
Come back.
4-H one or just the at Texas A&M? Are you involved with the 4-H?
No, but because it's Texas A&M.
But the first one's for 4-H.
Okay, so we do.
We can go ahead and approve that one.
B and C?
The B, no, they're separate. So if we could go ahead and have you, and you don't necessarily have to leave the room when you abstain unless there's some, just, unless you feel more comfortable with that. But,
We just kind of postpone the next item. We're just kind of.
but yeah, you can go ahead and do B
Okay.
because you have a quorum. But if with you abstaining for C, we'll need to bring it back because we don't have enough for a quorum.
So again.
The reason for B is because the attachment, that extracurricular status request, has the Texas A&M Agri Life Extension on it, the logo.
Yes, it does. Okay, then we'll need to bring both of these back.
Okay.
That's for items 7B and C.
Yes, thank you for noticing that, yes,
7D and 7B and C
yes.
Yes, sir.
goes back.
Are they time sensitive?
Well, I hope not, because there's nothing we can do tonight. If, there shouldn't be,
They're
so,
in,
it-
it'd be in March timeframe.
My child is leaving October 5th for Dallas.
so then we'll have to see about calling a special board meeting.
They sent that out last week.
Okay,
It's
thank
in
you.
the Extension Agent conference.
We'll check with both, but it sounds like this one is needed, so we'll have to call a special board meeting and see if we can get a quorum.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so it literally by the end of, by September.
Yeah.
They're gonna be sending Mr. Todd the forms.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, I'm glad you let us know that.
Okay, going on to item 7D. Consider and approve the vendor for student information system. Okay, we're there where I was before. So for 2023, 2024 school year, Ms. Cook.
Were you gonna talk about this, or Jason? You good? I didn't get a chance to ask Mr. Brew if he would speak to this, but I saw he was back there, and he is much more knowledgeable in this. I can tell you why we're doing it, but I think he can answer your questions. He's been diving deep into it, so Mr. Brew.
All right, any questions? Let's see, so we got told our student information system is what drives our calendar, our discipline, the grades, the parent enrollment,
Events.
student enrollment. It's the backbone of the whole thing. When we transfer records between schools, it's done through this system as well too. So it's kind of a big piece that goes with it, just as big as the finance piece is on the finance side when we do that kind of stuff. So we were told probably 2 months ago that our current system, they are no longer in the student information system business. So, and we've been with them since 3 iterations, probably, I don't know, 15 years, 10, maybe, yeah. Since 2006 or before. So it's been a long time. We've been with them, a great company. But with that, they gave us an option to move with a different company, or we can go pick the one that they're staying with and move and shifting with it. There's 2 main companies in Texas that are being used. It's Skyward and Ascender. And then the company they were going to shift us to would have been Infinite campus. And there's 3 campuses or 3 districts in the state of Texas that use it right now, compared to the Skyward and Ascender. On this side of the bridge, most of them are on Skyward. I think across the ferry, they're on Ascender, and then if you go up 188 and to the right a little bit of Sinton, they're on Ascender as well too. But most of them are on Skyward. If you need me to explain some of the numbers on there, we can. If you got a question on them, we can go through with
Well,
them.
he did all the research, we said, and we vetted each one. We looked at the pros and cons, and we feel like Skyward will be able to meet our district needs as we move forward. So after vetting those and having the discussions and looking at the cost and so forth, we feel like that's the best way to proceed.
If we were to continue with where we're at, if we're going to Infinite, you can see that cost of that number of 50, almost 52 a year. If we were to go to Ascender, it'd be like 35, 37. And then Skyward's gonna, in the long run, it'll end up being less than the other 2 compared to on the year. It's just that initial bump up of the setup fees to get into it, of which they're going to, we have a 3-year option to pay it off.
Are they compatible, just transfer the information over, or does it have to be fed?
Oh, no, that's all us.
All on you?
Yeah, oh yeah. But that's the same thing with the finance piece. If we were to move to anything else, we're always gonna have to be involved because of the data that's involved.
We
So-
found this out a couple months ago. Are we needing more IT people for this?
I can always use more IT. I think we'll be
On the
fine.
need, I think. This is a pretty big
It's a pretty big
Yeah.
thing. The companies have their own crews and they set us up with us, and then we disseminate the information towards them to put them in.
So again, and for the training curve for our teachers and staff, are going to have to, you're going to get it ahead of time before the school year is over, before?
Well,
you know,
if we get,
during the summer, or?
if with whatever we get approved, and we're gonna have to do it because we gotta get onto a list, because all the school districts are looking for this as well too, that are going with that, and we gotta get in a queue. The big thing is if we can get started in January of '01, or in '01, or what is it, 23, January 23.
Missed a few
and,
years.
If we get that started, that's what we're gonna project for our start date, to start implementation of it. So that at least by April, we're gonna have some, things where we start working back and forth, and then it'll go live, August of '23.
Question on the costs.
You got it.
For Skyward, the setup services at 60,922 split over 3 years,
Correct.
plus the 22,274. So that means the first 3 years are going to be 42,581. Then year 4, it'll drop down to 22,274.
Correct.
Okay. And on the evaluation template, can you tell us a little bit about the range on the points assigned for?
Well, there was not a real 100% going with it. I mean, it was something we're forced into having to be done, that goes with this. There's the two of them, whether Ascender or Skyward, that was probably going to be the big two between the two. The drawback with the Skyward would have been the big chunk of the 61 that going with it, and then the other piece of it is Ascender. Just going with it. It's going to be a new product on either side that goes with that.
On the one of the factors that says past relationship with vendor,
We have
Ascender
it-
had
correct.
we've
have
used
it-
Ascender before.
We have it for the finance.
Oh, for that
Yeah.
Correct.
for that component, that module. Okay.
So, and it's the same people that are doing the tech part in Ascender over at the region, I think it's Region 2.
Okay. So that's why they.
So we do have a little relationship with them right now.
Okay. All right. Thank you for clarifying that.
Oh, no worries.
Any other questions or comments? I know that if we get some teachers from other districts around, sometimes the other districts around us use Skyward. So if we transition to our district, then some of our staff may be easier. They can just kind of step right in and not have to be trained into the new system. They're already aware of what they're doing, so that's a plus too. Since we do get a lot of teachers coming in from other districts transfer over here and see the light at the end of the tunnel and decided to make a big chunk, a big move over. So we're happy to have them. So, but that helps them out a little bit too when they come over, so they don't have to do as much. Any other comments or questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, do I hear a motion to consider and approve the vendor for student information systems beginning the 2023-2024 school year?
So move.
Don't we have to name that vendor in the motion?
Skyward?
Skyward.
Okay, so let me read it one more time. Approve the vendor for Skyward for our 2023-2024 school year.
So move.
Motion made by Ms. Director. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Diostas. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Ayes, got it. Next is topics for future discussion, future meetings. Anybody have anything they would like to bring up for
Yeah,
future meetings?
one thing.
Yes, sir.
I noticed as I come and go picking up granddaughter from school, see a lot of kids walking on Demery and Avenue A. I just wonder, is there anything we can do toward try to get some sidewalks for them? Because when they're walking right by the
Yeah.
street.
Yeah, we worked with the city right after I got here. We were trying to go for a grant, and we didn't receive that particular grant to continue. I got some of it, but yeah, that's definitely going to be a grant-funded project we're going to have to go after. And
Ms. Cook, would you look into that? Because I almost positive I read that the city got that approved.
got the grant approved.
Got something approved for funding for that.
Well, they got approved, but that's the sidewalk they built from the library all the way down to the high
Okay.
school.
Well, I'll do some research on where, what they received, where we are, and what possibilities we have moving forward.
Yeah, just,
Yeah,
I
this
could
is-
be wrong, but I swear I read that somewhere. I was thinking, great,
You
that's
see a lot of
exactly
students-
what it's needed.
Yeah.
You see a lot of students walking over Demery Lane
Yes.
and Avenue A.
Yeah, it's very dangerous.
Sometimes if they're not really paying attention, they're just right there where a car is at.
Right.
So close.
Yeah,
All are wearing those little earbuds.
I know.
So I believe there's something, because I was looking into this as well, something further down Avenue A. One of the concerns about Demery is that past Blunt, then we're in Sanpat County. So we may need to look to meet with
Expand
those
our-
officials, not just look at the city of Aransas Pass, but if potentially there's some funding or assistance that we can get through Sanpat County as well.
But I often think about that because you got a lot of distracted drivers and not really paying
Yes.
attention. School is out, and kids are just walking everywhere.
Yes.
And then you're so close to the highway. It's a big concern for us.
Let me start doing some questioning and research, and I'll bring back to you
Okay.
what I can find out.
And Mr. Vector and I went over to the high school last week, and we were there for something. I forgot what we were there for.
Taking those forms for the VODs.
We took a tour over there, and they're doing some stuff over in one of the rooms over there, and doing some creative stuff over there for theater arts guys. They're painting the walls and doing some other stuff, and so it was kind of interesting to see what they were doing. But also, Mr. Todd mentioned that he has a hero program. Is that right? Or is there a hero program or character building program?
Hope Squad.
Hope Squad.
Hope Squad.
Yeah. So maybe next time he can give us a little presentation on what that's about. 'Cause
Well,
it's
Kelly
character building,
Pape
right?
Sims did come, and she presented that to you a couple of months ago.
Oh, okay.
We can do it again.
No, that's okay.
I can send
Yeah.
it. I'll send it to you in an email.
Yeah.
We bring so much to you. I'm sure it kind of, yeah. But Miss Sims came and presented that to you, that what we were going to be doing at the high school and at the middle school.
Yeah.
But what I think might be good is now that they have their students and everything, maybe we can have some of them come and, from a student's perspective, share with you how they feel about it. So maybe we'll do something like that.
Yeah, that's good. Just so our public knows that we're trying to work there for that, the character building on our students as well, because that's important for them, and it helps them out because they solve their own problems, and they can come up with solutions and deconflict things at the campuses, so they don't get out of control sometimes. So, but thank you. Anybody else have any other further things for future topic for meetings? Next is convene an executive session as authorized by the Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Code 551.001, concerning any and all purposes permitted by the Act. 551.074, a new hires DOI pre-K teacher. 551.082, school children. 551.0821, personally identifiable information about public school students. Again, the time is now 8:09, and I convene in executive session. The time is now 8:24, and we reconvene back in open session, and we have to reconvene in open session to act on any items requiring actions from closed session. First thing on the agenda is consider and approve waivers to allow medical virtual homebound for special education students. Do I have a motion to approve waivers to allow virtual homebound for special ed students as discussed in executive session?
So moved.
Motion made by Mrs. Butler, second by Ms. Diostas. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Next is consider and approve the local teaching certificate utilizing District of Innovation option for Clarissa Forrest as a pre-K teacher. To serve as a pre-K teacher. Do we have a motion to approve the local teaching certificate for Clarissa Forrest to serve as a pre-K teacher at Falk Elementary? Motion made by Mrs. Diasta, second by Mr. Butler. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Mr.
got-
Butler?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. Rector?
Mr. Rector, I'm sorry.
When I was the president, I did say it.
It's not the first thing. At least I got my pages right this time. Okay. Well, the time is now 8:26 with no other business before the board. I adjourn this meeting.